Well, hello, and welcome to the Dare to Try podcast. I'm Bretagne.
I'm Annika.
I'm Johanna.
Yes.
We do a lot of singing on this podcast.
We should do even more singing. Why don't we sing? Maybe we should do a podcast where we're only singing.
Ooh.
They do that on the CW. Like every show has an episode where it's a musical. So, I mean, we can.
I could start with, hello and welcome. And then you could jump in. We'll have to work on it, but I love that idea.
Yeah, Bretagne will send us. Yeah, Bretagne sends us moments where she feels like singing and records herself on her phone and sends it to us.
Yeah, it's not me necessarily singing a particular song, right? I'll be like, I'm driving and it's snowing. It's snowing and I'm driving. And it's just me singing what I'm doing.
I do a similar thing at work, like while we're throwing boxes onto the truck, and someone will just leave me, and I'm like, and I'm alone again. I'm doing the truck all by myself. And then they walk in, and they're like, "Y'all right there?" And then I'll sing like another song, and they'll be like, "So who sings that song?" I'm like, "You did not just ask me that."
I know what you're doing.
That's hilarious. That's because we all have similar personalities, but we're also all very different. And that's why we had so much fun with this challenge. I had fun with this challenge anyway. I'm excited to talk about it.
I had fun too. Johanna, did you have fun?
Yeah. I had fun.
She's like, I already know I'm awesome.
Yeah, I'm the best. Well, I love this confidence. I love this energy. And we're getting so much closer to our event that's coming up next week. So we're excited. We're staying in high spirits. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump in with a thought. And I have a quote and a thought that I put together. The quote is from Wayne Dyer. You have a one-of-a-kind gift to offer this world, and you are unique in the entire history of creation. Does that not?
That's awesome. The entire history of creation, you are unique. Is that what he said? Unique?
Yeah, one of a kind. Yeah.
One of a kind.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, even twins they're not the same person, even identical twins. I mean, Johanna has identical twins and her in-laws. Are they identical? Are they considered identical?
They're not.
I mean, they don't look identical, but I was wondering if they were considered like biologically identical. They're still not. But either way, we see that all the time, that they're completely different. Like, we are unique. And even if you find someone that's so much like us, we are still different. We still have different parents. We have different moments, different experiences, different emotions. Like, there is no single person that is the same. Oops.
Yeah, I think that's one of the fun things about having siblings is we come from the same parents. We are blood related, 100%. I know there was a bit of a debate about me being adopted at one point. That has been debunked.
That was just your older brother being mean. No, like, your sisters never said you were adopted. Not in that way.
Part of you wanted to be adopted. You wanted to be different.
Absolutely. I've always embraced being unique and different. And that's why I was so excited to share this dare with you guys. It's so important that we embrace our uniqueness. So one of the thoughts that I put down was, it takes courage to stand out from the crowd. Be confident in knowing that you are rare, that no one can be a better you than you.
Yeah, that's true. There was that reminds me of a quote that was something like, why be someone else, or you don't want to be a second-rate version of someone else when you could be a first-rate version of yourself, or something like that. Like, no one is you. Why not just be you, and don't try to copy someone else, because you can't do it as good as they can.
Absolutely. Dad, I remember telling me that when I was in middle school, because there was a girl in school that I just idolized. And I wanted to do everything just like her. And we were friends, but I wanted to be her instead of being me. And I remember Dad telling me that quote. And that has stuck with me and has really helped me as I've developed and embraced my uniqueness.
Love that.
Yes,
Johanna,
I
you're
love
about I could see you're like thinking, and I was like, wait, is it coming?
It's coming. No, I absolutely love the idea of being unique. Like when I told Dad that at work I'm one of the very few girls that works at my work, he's like, "Oh, you like that?" I'm like, "It's not that I like working with a bunch of guys. It's the fact that I'm different. I like being me. You know,
We do. We know.
I like you. I like me.
I like being you too.
I definitely love being Johanna.
This is a little awkward.
But I also like being me. Do you guys know the Meghan Trainor song?
Yes, like that was on my birth
If
playlist.
I were you, I'd want to be me too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Bum, 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 bum. Man, we are doing a musical today, aren't we?
Keep singing. So
I thank God every day.
Oh, hello.
sing it. I love this. So the recap, in case you guys weren't around, our listeners, if you didn't hear what our dare was, I'll just quickly recap it. How do you identify? We dare you to dive deeper into who you are and take a personality test. Reflect on the results and write a self-identifying statement to better describe and understand you. So, did you do?
I have a confession.
Uh-oh. Stop. Hold the phone. What did you do, Annika?
Well, I forgot the part of writing a self-identifying, what was it? A statement? I did not do that. I totally spaced that. But I have a lot of lessons I learned, and this challenge was really good for me. So I'm just going to have to write a statement later.
Well, now this dare, it's the dare that keeps on giving. You can keep going with it, and you can journal about yourself anytime you want.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, can I go first?
Absolutely.
Okay, because it was actually really good for me because I'm obsessed with these personality tests. I've been doing them, I feel like, for a decade, and I thought I've done all of them. There was one, so our friend and life coach Sabrina from the Perspective Detective, she found out we were doing this because she listens to our podcast, and I'm like, oh, you are so awesome for supporting us, and we want to support her. And she, so I want to give her a plug because she has a whole 6-week program that's I think it was $75, and it's called Seek and Find You course. And it goes deep into finding who you are. And there's these exercises and there's a Facebook group. And so it's a 6-week course. And so I couldn't do the course in 1 week, but it's something that we could definitely think about and consider investing in future because it will help you go even deeper. And we know Sabrina is just awesome about what she does as a life coach. And so I would definitely recommend doing that one because it's one I've never heard of before. It's not a mainstream one. It's Sabrina's creation. So yeah. Did she tell you guys that too?
Yeah. Sabrina is not only my life coach, but she's a mentor of mine. And when I am working on myself and developing my own programs, I ask her, would this add value? What do you think? What should I do? And she always has the tools and the resources, not to give me the answers, but to help me find the answers for myself.
Yeah, she's so awesome. And so, yeah, so any listeners who are looking into other personality tests, because if you're like me, you've done all of them. You've done Carol Tuttle's, you've done the color test, you've done the Myers Briggs, you've done the, I can't even think of them all, DISC, the Enneagrams, I've done them all. And so if you've done them all and you want to go even deeper and you're obsessed with it, check out her program at the Perspective Detective. You can even message her on Instagram and she'll get you plugged in there. So, sorry, with that said, that was a lot already. I decided to dive back deeper into my results from past tests. So I'm a yellow in the color code. And so I read over that again, and it reminded me of some things. And before I go into the lessons I learned, I first wanted to just review. So I was reviewing basically the results from all the tests that I did. But then I retook I think it's Myers Briggs, but it's from 16personalities.com. I think that's Myers Briggs, right?
Yeah, it's the free version of the Myers Briggs model.
And it was like really accurate. So this is the cool thing. So when I took that test in college, I was an ENFJ, and J stands for judging. And now I am ENFP. Yes, I'm ENFP, which is like perspecting. Oh, I don't remember what it stands for now. But the fact is I have changed, and I think for the better. And these are some things that I've learned. So first, my result was I'm a campaigner. So a free spirit, I'm outgoing, open-hearted, open-minded. But I long for deep connections. This is one of the big changes that I've noticed, that in college, I didn't care about deep connections. It's not that I didn't want them, it's I didn't know I wanted them. And so all my relationships were very surface level. I didn't go deep with anybody. I never had a deep relationship. I'd never been in love before. Even my friendships, we just didn't go there. And people didn't open up to me. And it's probably because I didn't create a space for that to happen. And I was thinking about this as I was reading my results. It says that campaigners, or the ENFPs, really crave deep connection. And one of my questions I've been having is, why do I get kind of like perked up when someone's like crying, like opening up to me and crying? And I'm like, it sounds horrible, right?
That's kind of sadistic.
I know. And so I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like, I'm not happy they're sad, but I realize I'm happy that our connection is now becoming deeper because they're being vulnerable and I'm being vulnerable, and I'm being more empathetic because they're showing me emotions, and it's easier to show empathy when they show emotions, and it just like complements each other, and it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's what makes me happy. So if I'm smiling when you guys are crying, it's not because I'm happy or sad.
I smile sometimes when people cry, not because I am, again, happy that they're crying, but it's also that awkwardness that you don't know what to do sometimes. And they're crying, and you smile. And I don't know if it's this, like, I want them to feel safe, and so I'm going to smile, and it's this reaction. But I do sometimes smile when I see people upset, because it's a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, and it's probably an uncomfortable thing. We all laugh when we're uncomfortable.
Yeah, the same thing happens for me, except I smile when I'm crying. When I like say someone dies, and I'll be like, hey, like someone died today. And I feel so uncomfortable, like I'm crying and I'm sincere and I'm not lying. I just feel uncomfortable and I just smile. So awkward.
Maybe that's a deep connection for you too. Like maybe there's a subconscious desire there to connect deeply with someone, and that's what makes you happy.
Yes, sorry.
So another lesson I learned, let's see. Oh, okay. This one was a big one because the Myers Briggs tells you weaknesses, and the weaknesses were spot on, like unfocused, disorganized, people pleasing, overly accommodating. And I know what you're thinking. What are you talking about? You love organizing. You're not disorganizing, or disorganized. But I actually kind of am. Like my office right now is disorganized to me. It might be organized to other people, but when things don't have a place, it stresses me out. So that's one of the weaknesses, that disorganization will stress you out. But the lesson that I learned about these weaknesses is that I don't have to take this as this is just who I am. I'm just unfocused. I'm just unorganized. I'm a people pleaser. I'm over accommodating, which is like, over accommodating means like I overcommit myself. And it's true. I say yes all the time. I don't want to say no to people. Instead of saying this is just how I am because I took a test and the test told me, I'm going to take those as challenges. I'm going to take that as, okay, yeah, I am unfocused. So I'm going to challenge myself to actually see a project through instead of always getting excited about the newness of ideas. My ideas never run out. I'll always be excited about new ideas, but I'm going to challenge myself to actually see it to the end. I'm going to challenge myself to set boundaries with people and say no to them. I'm going to challenge myself to not be so people pleasing, because I learned that you can change. Because I took these personality tests. I've been doing it for years. And some things never change. Like I'm always outgoing. I'm always pretty split down the middle, 50-50 on most categories. But noticing what I used to do 10 years ago, I noticed that I can change and people do change. So even though this personality test says I have these weaknesses and maybe they'll always be there, but I'm going to take it as a challenge. So big reflection, big personal reflection that I had because of this dare. So I'm really grateful for it.
Oh my gosh, that is so huge. I love that you started with, let's first see where I was at and then see where I am. It helps you understand your growth, that you can change. And then throwing out that these aren't things you have to take as face value. You don't have to be unorganized. And let me just throw it out there. Annika is the most organized person I know. So she's talking crazy, but I love that. And I've always been such an advocate of your weaknesses being misunderstood strengths. You know, I was always told I was emotional and dramatic when I was younger. And I saw that as such a negative. And instead I go, no, I feel things deeply and I'm emotional because I care and I'm passionate. And that is a superpower, not a weakness.
I remember like that moment too. It was a few years ago when you were still living in Utah and you were like, Annika, I read this article about overly sensitive people and I'm one of those. And they didn't say it was a bad thing. And I think we were like walking, we were on a walk. I was pushing the buggy with Anders as a baby or something. And we were just walking and talking about it. And you were just like, it was just clicking left and right. Like, I'm not bad. Like, it's not a bad thing to be overly sensitive. Like, this is good. And I have gifts that I've brought to the world. And I remember that time in your life when it was starting to shift. It's so cool to see that.
Thank you. I remember that too. That was a big moment for me. Thank you so much for sharing that, Annika. Johanna, what are your thoughts?
First off, yeah, Annika is super organized. I remember growing up that she would kick me out of our room just so that she could rearrange the entire bedroom. So, yeah.
But you gave me also my need for newness, though. Like I was just constantly needing newness, and that's part of ENFPs is we need a lot of newness and to keep the spark alive, or we get bored.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But I don't remember cleaning our room when we shared a room. In fact, even when I got my own room, it was such a mess. And you're like, do you want me to clean your room for you? And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. I can like name at least 5 times that you cleaned my room for me.
I know Benny too. And he let me keep whatever money I found when I cleaned his room.
Sounds like a win-win.
Yeah. Anyway, sounds like Annika like understood the assignment. Because me over here, I just took the simplest test I could find and free. And so I found the DISC test and it says I'm super inspiring and supportive. And I was like, man, I like this test because it says wonderful things about me and that I am really good with people. And it was just like saying all these great things. And I'm like, yes. And then it's like, if you want to learn how to, work on these things and how to apply them to your life and to people, like, pay like $14. I was like, nah, I'm good. So, but I'm happy with my results. And I now feel that I need to look a little deeper and maybe do it better like Annika did and try to improve myself a little better.
Well,
comparison is a thief. Don't compare.
Yeah, let's go back to what you said. You found out that you are inspiring. Did you not know that about yourself?
I've always wanted to be inspiring, but I didn't ever think anyone considered me inspiring. I know that you guys sometimes say it, but like you guys are always nice. Our whole family is very validating. And so I can't always believe what you say because you're always
We're not lying.
No, but I love this, and I really want to touch on this real quick. You said you always wanted to be inspiring. And then you just found out because a test validated that you are. And we have these desires deep down. And to me, these desires are our gifts whispering to us. Like, I have a deep desire to motivate and to inspire and to be athletic and to be a writer. And it's not just because they came out of nowhere. It's a part of who I am. It's because I am inspiring. I am motivating. I am athletic. I am a writer. Johanna, you are inspiring.
I appreciate it. It's nice to hear. Keep telling me. But it's just, I don't know. I also don't, I find inspiring to, like, if I say it, like, who are you? I'm like, oh, I'm inspiring. Like, it almost sounds prideful too. So I think that's another reason why I never thought as that as a definition of who I am,
I think there's a difference between saying what your attributes or your strengths are and bragging, and I don't think anyone in our family is meant to brag. I think if anyone, it would be me. But I think that it's totally okay to say, yeah, I'm actually really confident in this area, or because you have to be confident, like in interviews, they're going to ask you, what are your strengths? What can you bring to the company? And if you're like, oh, I don't want to brag. I don't want to be prideful. I'm just a normal person. No, you're going to be like, well, I really like to motivate people, and I'm a really hard worker, and I'm actually very efficient, and I'm always on time. Like, that's not bragging. That's just the qualities that you have that people can rely on, and it's getting to know you too.
It's a good point. I like that.
100%. Well, I'm going to share mine, but I have to admit it looks a lot like Annika's. So I also took the Myers Briggs, or the free version, the 16 personalities, and I used to be, I think it was an INFJ, maybe it was an ENFJ. But I took the test and I came back as ENFP.
Woo, we're the same, but we're not. We're unique.
That's right. That's right. And I was so excited because it came back as saying that I'm warmly enthusiastic and imaginative, seeing life as full of possibilities, which is so spot on. And when I took this test, I was telling Jason, I was so excited about it. And he's never one to take a personality test. But if I show my passion and my excitement, then sometimes he'll jump on board. And he's like, how long will it take for me to take the test? Can I take it? And I was like, yes. And I handed
dude, 5 minutes.
Yeah, do it right now. And he was so impressed with his results. He came back as an entrepreneur, ESTP, as flexible and tolerant and expecting immediate results. And it was so him, and he was so excited. He was so excited for that validation. And I did take the step a little bit further, and I did write a well, it's kind of a statement. I mostly just word vomited, just brain dumped what I was feeling after I took the test. And I just want to share that. It sounds a little poetic, but I am poetic.
I love it.
And so this has not been edited, but I'd like to take a minute to share what I wrote.
Yes, please.
Okay.
I am a wild warrior, daring dancer, determined to succeed through creativity and authenticity. I like my imperfect parts. I view myself as art with internal sparkle, both hard and soft. I am what I am not. Embracing the impossible, believing it's all probable, I use my heart to harness the bold, beautiful, and brave, poetic, positive, prolific, graceful, grateful, unshakable. I'm determined, creative, loving, and caring, fearless and ferocious. I'm fearless. I'm forgiveness. I embrace both the dark and the light, the wrong and the right. Sometimes feel high strung like a violin with a neck made to sing. All the things I want to be, I already am. I am wild, I am free. And I'm not flawless, but why would I want to be? Such pressure to be perfect, and then no one to relate to seems awfully lonely to me. I'm wild, I'm free.
Woo! I love that.
Oh, so good.
It reminds me of are you human or are you dancer?
I'm a dancer, 100%.
Because that song, I was always like, they don't say are you human or a dancer. They just say are you human or are you dancer? And
Yes.
you said that, and you're like, yes, I am dancer.
I am dancer.
Bretagne, that was very poetic and beautiful, and I love that. And I love that you had all this validating feelings of taking the test. And now I want Johanna to take the 16 personalities, because I'm kind of curious if she'll come up as, I wonder if she'll come up as INFP, or because she needs people, but I just wonder if it might be more introverted versus extroverted. I don't know. You might come up as ENFP, or I don't know. You have to take it.
I will take it and I'll let you know. But I absolutely love that. You gave me a lot to think about. Like, you're absolutely right. Like, everything that I've wanted to be is totally like who I am becoming as I, get to know myself and try to be my true, authentic self. I am becoming what I've always wanted to be. I absolutely love that.
That's so cool.
That's a great.
I love it. What a good challenge. And I want to take them more. And I love like the self-reflection. And now I need to write my statement. So thank you for that reminder. And I apologize for not doing that, but I'm excited to do that. I know it failed.
Fail. You're
50%. I know 50% is a fail. So even if you do half of the work, it's a fail. I mean, I don't want to go into what's wrong with the school system, but I'm just saying.
No, you definitely accepted and understood the assignment. And I'm just grateful that each one of you took this time. Like every single one of our dares, it's to help better ourselves and to be vulnerable and to share these things with people, to let them know they're not alone in their thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. All right, Johanna, what's the dare this week?
All right,
hit us.
dare this week.
Oh wait, what's the truth, I guess?
The truth is first, do you know anyone in your life that is intimidating?
Besides myself?
Is there someone out there that you find intimidating in any way? Whether they're just not talking to you, maybe you think they don't like you. Is there someone, and if you can't think of someone right now, that's fine. Maybe you meet someone new throughout your week. But the challenge is go talk to someone who intimidates you. It's that simple. And be kind, be yourself, be authentically you. But believe it or not, when you go and talk to someone who intimidates you, you'll find out something that will surprise you.
Like what?
Well, I'll give you my background on why I want to do this challenge. Just yesterday we were working, and normally there's this guy that's really weird, and I get along with him, but people avoid working with him. And then yesterday, he was just like busting his butt, and he wasn't talking to anyone like he normally does. He's normally super outgoing and just kind of talks too much. But yesterday he wasn't, and everybody was kind of afraid. They're like, I think he's mad at me. And so I switched trucks with someone, and I went in and I just asked him. I was scared. I was afraid that he's gonna like beat me up or something. And I was like, are you okay? And he's like, I'm depressed. And he just told me. It wasn't hard. It was hard for me to ask him, but it wasn't hard for him to answer. And he said that he wasn't getting enough of his medication. And I just asked him questions about what I already knew he liked.
fortunately, I already knew him, so I could do that. But then I switched back his partner, and I was like, just talk to him like you normally do. You guys have so much in common, and you guys always have a good conversation. Go back and talk to him. And he did. And at the end of the day, he was himself again. And, you know, it sucks not having your medication, but sometimes in the moment, like, sometimes all you need is someone to talk to you. So.
Johanna, I love this. I love this, the why. I think it's important to bring up the why we do something and the why you brought up this truth or dare. When I think of who intimidates me, I think of several people who used to intimidate me, and I get intimidated. And there are definitely those times and those moments. So I'll be acutely aware as we go through this week. I might be intimidated by someone who doesn't normally intimidate me, but because of the circumstance, because of where I'm at that time, maybe they are intimidating. So I really love this dare, and thank you for your vulnerability and sharing that story.
Yeah, I'm excited. I noticed that I'm intimidated by like authority, and it's not that I'm scared by them. It's like Dan put it really easily recently. He said that I tend to put people above me, and that's because it's just my own confidence. It's like my own belief of whether or not I'm enough or worth somebody's time. But there's like for instance, our CEO, his schedule is like jam-packed, and so it's sometimes difficult to go in and talk to him, and it's like intimidating to be like, hey, can I talk to you? Because I know he's busy and I don't want to waste his time. And so it's things like that of like, and that's part of what the personality test, being an ENFJ or ENFP, is that I'm people pleasing and overly accommodating. And it's like, I tread lightly because I don't want to hurt someone's feelings, or I want to be cautious instead of just thinking about what I need and what I want to do. But that's because I don't want to come off as like selfish. And anyway, so the people like that are intimidating, but I can get intimidated by anyone. If I feel like I need to talk to someone about a hard thing, that person's intimidating because of my feelings. It's not actually having to do with the person at all. It's my feelings and the situation. So it's just an interesting perspective as we're talking about it.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
I hope that you guys have a good experience. You know, I hope it's only good experiences, but I'm curious what will happen throughout this week.
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you so much, Johanna, for this dare.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone for listening. We are Dare to Try, and we dare you to try.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.